How would you feel if every time you made any kind of monetary transaction, you had to pay a fee, or worse, a percentage of that transaction to somebody else, like a sales tax, but on everything? I'm Chris Corsello, and you're watching The Daily Dose. The first of the month passed, and I just paid for a few things. One, I rent a garage, and the landlord of that garage wants me to put money directly into his bank account. He will not accept payment any other way. So each month I go into his bank and I have to present my ID and my card, not just slide it in to the chip reader, but the bank teller has to see my actual card, check to make sure my address is current, and then they can accept payment. They will not accept cash. It's a bank, and they won't accept cash. I also recently paid back a friend who got my Burning Man ticket through the directed group sales. So we get Burning Man tickets a little early, and those tickets have to be bought in pairs. So she bought 2 tickets, and I had to pay her back. I used PayPal. So she received what was almost $500 from me, and PayPal took $15. She called to complain because between friends and family, according to PayPal, there's not supposed to be a fee. Well, apparently I didn't see it. It must have been a default setting. It was marked as goods and services. So there was a $15 fee on $500. I am a retailer. I have a brick and mortar store. I sell products off the shelf. I accept credit cards and debit cards. Every transaction that's made that somebody uses a debit or credit card with me costs me between 2 and 4%. So that means if someone buys something for $2,000, I pay potentially up to $80 to the credit card processors and the banks and everybody involved in that transaction. Now, consumers conveniently use cards, and I understand as a consumer the convenience of the card. You don't have to stop at the ATM. You can only get so much cash out of the ATM. It's sort of a hassle having to stop and pick up money. It's easier just to pull that card out of your pocket and make payment. And it doesn't seem like it costs you anything, except that businesses build that into the cost of doing business. Those prices are higher because I know when I sell something for $2,000, I might have to pay up to $80 for processing fees. So I build that into the price, as do other retailers. So even when you are spending cash, we all pay more because of those fees. Now, my biggest complaint about this whole thing is that it does not cost the bank and the credit card processors any more money to process a charge of $20 versus $200 versus $2,000. In today's world, everything is done electronically. It's all done by computers. It happens automatically. It's not like it takes more labor, more people to process this transaction. It is simply greed. I'd be fine with a 25-cent, 50-cent, even a dollar transaction fee. But why do they get a piece of the sale? They are not taking the liability, by the way. For those who don't realize this, as a business owner, I've been the victim, quote unquote, of credit card fraud. Their machine kicks out a receipt, says the payment was good. I checked the ID. The person was the one that was listed on the card. Money goes into my account. Everything's good. 6 weeks later, 6 weeks, boom, money disappears out of my account. I call the bank. What's going on here? No warning, no heads up, no like, hey, this is what's going on. They just take the money back. And then they say, oh, well, you accepted a fraudulent credit card. Well, your machine gave me the okay. Your machine approved it. Your system said this was paid and the money was in my account. Don't tell me that the bank takes a liability on a $2,000 transaction that they don't take on $20. They don't take a liability anywhere. And as consumers, we all pay for it. But here's what I'm getting at. When I paid back my friend for the ticket, when I paid my landlord, in both cases, it would have been much easier if I could have just paid cash. Because this way, there's a middleman. I know services like Venmo don't charge based on how you're paying. And Squarespace is really convenient for people who have garage sales or farmers markets or other situations where you might not have a lot of cash on hand and want to accept payment. I understand the convenience of that. And right now, those services in many cases don't charge for those transactions. But when cash goes away, and it will, that middleman will now go, well, we're just going to take 1%. We're just going to take 2%. Because once you don't have cash, you no longer have the option. That is the problem with putting a middleman in every transaction, whether you're paying back a friend who paid the bill at the restaurant or who loaned you $5 when you were short of cash and didn't want to run your card, or whether you bought something at a garage sale. Cash, it's done. Deal is done. No more fuss, it's over. But every other way, there's a middleman. And once you have that middleman, they're going to take a cut for effectively doing nothing. Second, it allows you to be tracked. Now, I'm not trying to hide what I'm spending. And in the current environment, there's nothing I need to worry about in terms of legality and government and such like that. However, times change, and at some point, a record of how I spend my money could be used against me. Perhaps I'm eating the wrong type of food, and so I'll be charged more for health insurance. The point is, allowing a middleman between our financial transactions will and can cause problems. One, a fee, a cost, a tax on every single transaction we make. And two, hackers, governments, companies, whoever can find out how we spend their money. And really, I don't think it's any of their business to know. So, it's time to start defending cash. It's time to make sure that we make cash a right that cannot be taken away from Americans. Because if we don't, if we wait and we react, someday it's going to be too late. Once it starts to happen, the snowball is already rolling down the hill and it's getting bigger and bigger, and it'll be harder and harder to stop. So we need to be proactive and start the movement to defend the right to cash. Because once it's gone, everything will cost you more, and someone will be skimming off the top all the pieces of every little transaction, even though they aren't involved, even though it's none of their business and they had nothing to do with it. They'll get their fee, they'll get their percentage, they'll get their piece. So thanks for sticking out this long and hearing me out. I think this is an important topic. I think we need to start thinking about things that haven't happened yet, but when you can see the car heading toward a cliff, you'll want to take measures to steer away or step on that brake ASAP and not wait till you're coming on the edge. So most of my videos aren't this serious. Usually they're much more lighthearted, but occasionally I have something to say and I like to share that. So if you enjoyed this and agree with me, hit the like button. If you don't agree with me, hit the dislike button. Put some comments down below. But check out some of my other videos. And I make videos every day, so thanks for your time and thanks for watching.